Now, when we come to closing over expended projects, close out of projects that are underspent or fairly easy, or if they're hopefully, well, I won't say hopefully spent to the dollar because not many people do that. But we have, one of our biggest problems is getting these closed accounts when they're over expended. So GCA will prepare that 90-day notice and send it out to the investigators and the project liaison. GCA will review the project after the project end date with the following considerations. When's the deadline for the final billing and reports? Have all the expenses been gathered and entered into the general ledger? And then, is the project overspent? If the project is overspent, a notification will be sent to the investigator stating, and the liaison, stating the total expense that's over, the information about the final invoicing and final report requirements, because many agencies, you have to get that report in on time or they don't pay you, whatever final amounts. And then a reminder to provide them with that preferred chart fill string so we can transfer those over expenditures back to the department or the PI as needed. This notice will state that there is a 3-week response to that deadline. So we want that chart filled back within 3 weeks. If the chart fill has not been sent to us after 2 weeks, we'll send another final notice to the principal investigator, project liaison, department chair, and the dean's office. So they're going to know if you're not giving us the account number. And this final invoice will state that GCA requires that the PI designate that, give us that activity to transfer it to by the end of that week. If not supplied, then the over expenditure will be moved to a department or institute default chart field. We're going to start asking for just a standard default chart fill where we can move those expenses back to the department. Let me explain that just a little bit. Each department or institute must provide GCA with their specific default chart field and the contact person who we can contact about that. This chart field has to be an unrestricted activity and not a project. If the requested or preferred PI transfer activity from the department is not received by GCA within that 3-week deadline, the funds will be moved to the default chart field. And again, the notification after we move it to the default chart field, notification will be sent to the PI, project liaison, department, and the dean, stating that this much was moved of the over expenditure, and that we transferred it to that default chart field and the journal ID and the date it was transferred. So we want to make sure, we got to get these closed. It's a tremendous problem within GCA to have all these open accounts that are overexpended, and it's also very large liability.